If you're new to designing in Illustrator, in this free course, I'm going to show you how you can design logos, mockups, illustrations, all within Illustrator. I'm going to show you the basics and get you to a level where you're confident in actually designing in Illustrator. So when you open up Illustrator, you will get this main dashboard where they call it the home, and it will just show you all your recent files. So you can see some of my files I've been working on. It will show you that. It will also usually show you some new updates, and you can also click on learn as well. Bunch of tutorials there. I do have some other tutorials on my channel which will help. And then you can see some shared files or your files as well in the cloud. So when we click new file, what you want to know about the document setup is a few things. So you've got your preset details on the side, so you can rename it. You've also got presets on the left side as well. So these are the recent ones I've used. You can see we've also got mobile, web, print, branding, etc. I typically don't use these templates here because they're just not useful. You want to have a custom design that you want to work with. So I typically just go and create a custom one. So usually I'll do like 1920 by 1080, which is like a normal web page size. And then you can actually change how the files read. So like pixels, points, millimeters. If you're working on, say, print stuff, you probably want it in millimeters. If you're doing web stuff and just social media stuff, pixels is fine, or even points is good too. You've got other ones as well, but I usually just leave it on pixels or points. And if I'm doing like a business card or poster or something for printing, I'll do millimeters. You've also got bleed. Bleed is only needed if your printer tells you to add like 2 centimeters or 3 centimeters of bleed, then that's when you'll need to add that. And then you've got color mode, so you've got RGB and you've got CMYK. So RGB is perfect when you're doing websites, branding, online, anything just in the digital world, just RGB is fine. And you can also do CMYK for print stuff, which basically they're two different color gamuts. So CMYK will be less than RGB, but you can also switch modes halfway through. So if you're working in RGB, you can always switch later on as well. Just keep in mind the colors might look different on the screen than when you print it. And then you've got raster effects. You've got 72 ppi, and ppi is just pixels per inch. And so the more pixels, then the more detail, right? The more sharpness that will have of the pixels and the colors and stuff. Then you've got medium and high, so you can always change it. Just keep in mind it requires more, GPU power if you're doing more pixels. Typically, I just leave it on medium, or if I'm doing print, you always want to have at least 300, so you have to put it on high. So I would do CMYK and high usually, but typically I'll just start off with RGB, and then medium or screen is fine. And then preview mode, you can leave it on default. And then you've got some more settings here if you want, but it's basically the same thing. And then we just want to click create. And that's how you create your first artboard, your first document. Now, when we look at the workspace, if I zoom out, I'm holding Alt. If you're on Mac, it'll be Option. And you can actually use your mouse wheel. You can actually zoom in and out really easily. You can see the canvas actually has a boundary. So you can see this gray area. I can't create things outside of this boundary. So say I want to make a box, it will start giving me an error because you can't design outside these boundaries. They might update in the future, I don't know. So typically that'll be the boundary. And then you've also got an artboard here. So this is your artboard. You can change the size, you can expand it, etc. Now, one of the main reasons Illustrator is unique compared to like Photoshop and other tools like Figma or etc. is that it's a vector-based program. So I can create a design and I can scale it up. So if I can create a logo or text or a vector illustration, I can scale it as big as I want. So I can scale it really, really big and it won't lose its quality and detail because it's vector, it's mathematical. So if I blow up a logo and it's really small, or I blow it up to be really big on a billboard or a massive poster on, say, a building, it's not going to be pixelated and blurry. It will actually retain its detail. So this is our workspace. We've got the toolbars on the top, left, and the right. So on the left, we've got our selection tools. We've got our main selection tool, which is like this little black arrow mouse, little selector. If you press A, you can do the direct selection, which is the white arrow. And some of these tools will have a little tiny arrow on the right-hand side. If you right-click, it just means there's a drop-down menu with some other tools in there. So we've got our pen tool. If I right-click, you can see we got the delete and add anchor point tools. Let's say we go to the shape tool. We've got stars, polygons, ellipses, and you've got a whole bunch of other tools, gradient tools, etc. Best thing is to do is go in there, play around and see what there is. But the main tools you'll be using is most likely the shape tools, the text tool, and the pen tool in this menu. You can also get external tools. For example, I've got like a logo package, swatch, and express here. As you can see, just when I export logos, You can get extensions, which is pretty cool. And obviously, like, you can move around these menus and I can drop it in anywhere I want, as you can see. So I can drag it. I can have it floating, or I can snap it. If you just drag into the little blue highlight, I'll just drop it in and boom, it just snaps in to the workspace, which is really cool. Now, to get these other windows, you can go to Window in the top menu. You've also got Effects, Select, Type, Object, Edit, and File. So I suggest going through these. If you go to Window, you can see some other tools. So you might want to open, say, your layers. And I've got my layers tool here. It'll pop up. You can also go to Type. Say I want maybe character. I've already got that there. I've got paragraph, etc. And we can click these little arrows. You see these little 2 arrows at the top of the dark gray bar? That will just open it up like that. I can also snap it to this side if I want, as you can see. And I can also press Tab to hide everything. So if I just want to focus on design, I can press Tab. You can also press F for presentation mode, and it will get rid of everything as well. So that's just another quick shortcut to remember. So I'm going to hide this real quick. Cool. Now, one other main thing you can do is actually customize the workspace. So if you're not vibing with this layout, you can always go Window, go Workspace. And I actually have, this is my custom workspace. Obviously, I usually have this like floating like this. But if you go switch it up, let's just say we maybe want to work on a website or something, click Web. It will give you all the tools you need for web. So you can see properties, it gives you some other tools here. Or we can go, maybe it's for a layout or something. We can click that. It will just rearrange the windows for you. And you can always create the new workspace. You can actually customize, click new workspace and save a new one. It's really easy to do. You can also reset the layout. You can also manage workspaces there as well. It's pretty easy to do that. So nothing too crazy there. Now let's just talk about mastering the basics of, creating shapes using the pen tool. Those are probably the biggest tools in Illustrator that you can use. So I'm just going to load into this file here. I'm going to zoom in and I'm going to press P for the pen tool. You can also select it on the side, but it'd be good to learn the shortcut keys. Now, before I do go ahead, I actually do have a Illustrator masterclass that I go into more advanced techniques than just the basics. It's actually on Skillshare, and you can get 1 month of Skillshare. Just click the link below, or you can actually buy the course on my website. The links will be in the description below. So I'm going to press the pen tool and I want to trace these shapes here. I've got these outlines here. I'm just going to lock these shapes. So we can actually lock things by pressing Control or Command 2, and that will lock it so I can't select it. You can also put objects in different layers. So I just press Control Z to go back. I can select this and actually put it into another layer. You can drag this to bring that there, and I can actually click the lock button and I can't select it. So that's another way to lock items, which is really cool. I want to press P for the pen tool, and what I want to do is I'm going to click. So you can see this purple line, that's actually the smart guides. You can actually turn that off in view and go to smart guides. Press Control U to tick that off, but I usually leave it on because I want to make sure things are snapping, horizontally, vertically. So I'm going to click. Now, when you click, you create an anchor point, and an anchor point is just a start of a path, which is a line. And if I drag, you can see it will create the next part. It predicts the next part of the path. And so all I got to do is left click and it will create a line. Let me just change the color real quick, and let me turn off the dash line effect, and I'm going to turn the fill off. So we've got the fill and the stroke. So now you can see my stroke is on black. If I do maybe a different color, you can see that. Now I can press Control Z to go back to delete that if I want. I'm going to press pen tool again. Let me just get rid of all that. And what I'm going to do is left click, and then what I want to do is click and drag. So I can click and drag and I can move around the path, and if I let go, it's going to create this path. I can increase the stroke in the stroke window. And now I've got this path, so I can create this path like this, but I want to match it to the circle. So I'm going to left click, drag, and hold shift, and this will retain the 45-degree angle, as you can see. So it makes it just a bit easier to sort of follow this circle line. And when you have a path, you also have handles. Handles, all they do is control the way the anchor moves or the paths. So you can see if I use my direct select tool, so I'm going to press A, select the anchor point. The anchor point is always blue, and the handles are always a circle. And now I can actually move the anchor point like this. So maybe I want to adjust the anchor point to match more of that dashed line. We can do that just like that. If I want to continue the line, I'll press P again for the pen tool, and I'll left click back on that path, click on that anchor point, and now I can continue the path again. And I'll just quickly go through here like that. And that's how I'll do this. Now for this one, I'm just going to left click. I'm not going to hold shift. I'm not going to drag. I'm just literally left clicking. to create this star shape, just following the dashed line as a guide, and we've created a star, which is super cool. Now, what if we had something more complex like a cat or an image? We want to trace something. I can get my pen tool and I'll zoom in, and you can use your space bar to pan around, and I'm holding Alt and Option to zoom in. So that's how you're able to move very fast and move around. Now what I'll do, I'll start tracing the cat, and another little trick is you can hold Alt on the fly. So I'm still on the pen tool, but I can hold Alt, move this handle like this to change the direction, and I can continue the path this way. So that's how you control the handles, the paths, all that. And I might want to do this. I can always do the little fur later, like I can do another shape on top. But for now, I just want to like trace the shape. I'm not trying to be perfect here. I'm just trying to show a real world example. There we go. Now I can Shift X is the shortcut to flip the stroke to fill, and I've got this little cat image here, and then I can hide the back image by pressing Control 3. And let's just say I want to maybe make a quick ground or something like this. And there we have it. We've got a cat walking that we just traced, and we can move it around. We can rotate it. We can left click with the selection tool. As you can see, we have the main selection tool. I can move things around. I can actually scale things as well. So I usually hold Shift and Alt to scale from the center like this. And if you put your mouse on the corner of the bounding box, this blue box is called the bounding box. And you'll see the arrows change, and I can rotate the cat. Maybe I want the cat balancing like this or whatever. I can scale it. I can also hold Shift and it will snap 45-degree angle. Maybe I want to make the cat small, and maybe I want to make a duplicate. You can duplicate by holding Alt, and then if you want to make it, lock it in, snap it to a 45-degree angle, you can hold Shift as well. I can let go, and then I can actually just right click, and I can go to Transform. And in Transform, I can move, rotate, reflect, scale, shear. All those tools are on the left toolbar as well. But in this case, let's just say I want to reflect it, and I can click OK. It just opens the reflect tool, and it will flip it. You can also go to the Transform tool, and a little quick hack, you can click on the hamburger menu with the 3 lines, and I can flip horizontal as well. I can do it that way. So there's a few ways you can do it. And so maybe you want this cat to be green one, and it could be a head-to-head battle. And that's how you'll use the pen tool for that. I want to quickly share with you how to make patterns, because patterns are a key thing, especially when you're doing a brand identity. I've got this triangle here. I'm going to bring it here, and let's just say we want to have 2 triangles like this. I'm just going to rotate it, and maybe we want something like this. Now what I can do is go to Object, and in your object, you've got a lot of tools here you can play with. You've got envelope, distort, blend tools, intertwine, repeat, pattern, mockup, etc. I recommend playing with all these tools. Are really good. You've also got masks, compound paths, etc. Let's just go with a pattern and click make. And you can see now it's going to make this diamond pattern. I can change the options by row, by column, and you'll get some different effects here, as you can see. So you can do a grid, you can do something else like this. That looks really cool. You can change the offset if you want to offset it as well. But I think that looks pretty cool. And we'll go 9 times 9. And when you're done, you just click done or click escape. And then now in my swatches panel, a swatch is a color or a pattern or a gradient, and it saves it into these swatches, which are these squares. You can change the view as well by clicking these little menus here. And then we've got this pattern here. So yeah, you can make a really big pattern. If I want to change the pattern, just go to the swatch, double click the swatch, and I can change it like this. So if I delete this by pressing delete, I just drag it out, and now the pattern is updated, and you got this cool pattern that I made. This little checkerboard effect, which is really, really cool. I'm going to delete that. So another way to do repetition, a pattern sort of format, is we can select this tool, go back to object, but instead we're going to go to repeat and go to grid. And this will just create a grid of your object. In this case, it's these shapes. And I can drag this out. I can increase the gap or the size, the spacing, and I can increase it. It'll just constantly repeat it like that. So that's another way to do a quick, simple pattern, quick and easy. Now, another way to generate a pattern is you can actually go to Window and you can click on Generate Patterns, which is one of the new features of the new Illustrator. And I can make a shape. Let's just make a box, and I can describe a pattern. Let's say we want cooking herbs with food or something. Click Generate. Cool. And it generated a pattern, really cool. And Give me a few different options. One more simple one with a pumpkin. This one has carrots, leaves, and this one's a bit more detail, a bit more shading, where the other one's more flat. And you can go ahead and you can customize it if you want flat design or geometric. You can do the color presets. Maybe you want vibrant or pastels. And then we can say the number of colors we just want 2. And then you can say generate, and it will create another variation based on those parameters you set. Now you can see 3 different options of a new version: flat, basic, very minimal, simple. And that's another cool way to make a pattern. Now you also need to learn how to create shapes, combine shapes, etc. One of the ways to do that is I'm going to select, say, let's do a polygon. I can actually change the amount of sides by, if you click and drag and hold down and just press the arrow keys, you can see you can increase the amount of sides, which is cool. So maybe I want like a pentagon here, and maybe I want to duplicate that, and maybe I want to, I don't know, create like something like this, which is really cool. Now, what if I want to drag it closer like this? Now you can see I can select these shapes and it's overlapping. If I select it all, it will give you the outline of the shape, which is cool. Now, one of the key tools is the Pathfinder tool. So let me just hide these tools for a second. The Pathfinder allows you to create different shape modes and use combining and like cookie cutter, etc. So for example, I can click the unite button. The first one, this icon here, it unites the shapes. So now it's just one shape, as you can see. Whereas before it was 3 separate shapes. So we can combine it like this. You can also do this one where it minuses, it subtracts from the shape. You've also got it will cut the outside. You've also got one that will dissect it, so it will isolate it. So the remaining part that's not cut with the left there, as you can see. Say I do it like a circle or something, you can see, you can do this one, which is like, imagine you have cookie dough and you have one of those little cutters and you press it on the cookie dough. The last one on the shape mode basically is a cookie cutter, we like to call it. And then you've got the Pathfinder tools, so you can see the icons sort of do a decent job at explaining what it does. You got this one where it will dissect it into different shapes. You got this one as well, so it connects it and cuts the overlapping part on the bottom. So the shape that's on the bottom, it will just cut that overlapping piece. Then you got some of these other ones. I recommend just playing around with it. I'm not going to go through all of them because I don't really use those other ones. So a better way is actually using the shape builder tool. So let's say we've got this 2 squares, make this a bit smaller, and I'll just overlap it. I can select these tools, press Shift M. The shape builder tool is also located in the tools on the left. And what I can do is put my mouse over whatever part I want, and I can hold Alt or Option and left click and it will minus the shape. I can also plus the shape back in, as you can see. I can minus this, which is cool. If you have like lots of little shapes like this, select everything, press Shift M. When you drag your mouse over it, you can see it's got a little highlight, and I can start to like cut things out like this to get some like weird shapes. And that's how you create shapes pretty easily. Now, what about logos? I'm gonna give you a quick example here of what I'll do to create a logo. So I've got this text, it's just a regular A, uppercase. And I have this version here with this star. Now, the cool thing about this is I can outline text. You can press Ctrl-Shift-O to outline, which will turn the text into a shape. So then Illustrator registers it as a shape and not a live text. So you can go to Type and go down to Create Outlines right here. You want to click that, and now you can see its shapes. Now I can use the Shape Builder tool just to minus this section off here. And what I'm going to do is just bring this star, scale this down like this, and drop it right in the middle. But what if I want the star with only a few sides? I'm going to use this to drag it down because I'm using the Repeat Radial tool here. You can see Illustrator comes in built with this little tool here. I can increase and decrease the sides. Maybe I just want 5 points and not 7. I can make the star really big if I want. And maybe I want to do something like this. You know, I can create a logo like this, or I can do a version where maybe the star's a bit smaller. And then I can use my align tool. So you can see if it's off center here, I can select both of these shapes, and up the top, you've got your align tools. Now it's pretty straightforward. It's left aligned. So we've got center aligned like this. You've also got right aligned, and you've also got distributions like, so for example, let's say I do this, I can select this, and if I distribute going in the center, it will do this. And if I center the stars, it will center that. And you can do different distributions here. Really cool, love that. And yeah, that's how I would probably make a logo, and you can even like cut it out with the shape builder tool if you want to do something like that. And then now I've got this logo here. I'll use the Unite tool just to unite all these little shapes here. There you go. So you can just make a quick logo within a few minutes. And that's how I would typically play around with the logo, shapes, etc. Now you can also do a logo by tracing it. I've got this sketch here and I'm just going to make shapes. So for example, this chicken, I'm going to use my pen tool here, like I showed you before. And this is just one way to build out a logo. You can use actually shapes as well instead of the pen tool here. But I've got that shape and then I'll make the eye here. And then for this section, I can just maybe do a square, rotate it like this. And I can just cut that shape out. So I've got this shape and this shape. And then for this bit, I'm going to make a shape like this. And then I'm going to make a shape like this. So this is a freeform way of doing it. And then I can use the shape builder tool to blend the shapes together. Cool trick as well is you can select a shape, press Ctrl J to join the ends, see, and it will automatically join the ends of the shapes, as you can see there, which is really cool. So now if I flip this around, let's just make it dark gray for now so you can see what I'm doing. This one will be like a shadow, and then these ones look like this. So we've got the basic chicken head construction. Maybe it's for a chicken shop or whatever, I don't know. I'm going to use the shape builder tool, cut this out, and we'll cut the eye out like this. And then these ones, we can use the Unite tool to plus it together. And maybe you want to make it like, let's go with like dark reddish color. I'll use the color guide, which is a cool tool. If you click on the color, it'll give you some monochromatic colors, or maybe you want like tetrad colors or something, you can do that. So just like that, we've got this cool chicken going on. Maybe you want, I don't know, should we do black? Maybe you want this like gray color. Then, you know, we could add shadows if we wanted to, or just leave it like this. I think for the eye, we might make it actually white. And I think this is a bit too much. Maybe we can just tweak that, move that anchor point. Cool. Now I've got this chicken head logo and you can call it tenders or something. Just really quick, just to show what you could do. Or maybe just make it white. Or actually, we'll go that bullet blue. There we go. Just made a quick logo. And that's how you would trace, just by using shapes to trace this sketch. You can see the shape. You got to think in shapes, and that's the best way to think of when you're building logos. Just think in shapes. Another quick tip here is you got auto spelling on. I can turn that off. So Illustrator actually helps you when you've made a typo. Anyway, let's go with text now. Typography is one of the best things because it's very flexible. You can use shortcuts with Illustrator, and that's why I really love it. So we've got this text here. I can hold Alt and I can tap left and right. By selecting the text and then doing it, it's going to adjust the kerning. The kerning is just the space between the letters, as you can see. Then I can actually press T for the type tool. It's on the left, and I can select type and I can change the font. So maybe I want a grotesque font. Maybe I want something a bit different. As you can see, you can change that. I can select this font and do something else. I can select the font and press Control Shift and press the comma key. If you want to go the other way, you can do the full stop key. And if you want to make it faster, you hold Control Shift Alt at the same time. So we can make it really big or really small. Let's just make it really big. And then I'm going to press Alt and Shift if you're on a PC, or Option and Shift. And I'm going to bring that down. So then we have something like this. I can left click as well in the center and press Alt just to do kerning. So this will just change the spacing here. And you can see the text is still live. So cool thing is I can still edit all this text, which is amazing. We've just created a simple little piece of text here, and maybe I want to change the style. So if I select this, every font has a weight. So this one has semi-bold, extra bold, and even extra light. So I can rotate and you can see it starts to change. So if we go extra bold, that's what it looks like. If I go to thin, that's what it will look like. So I might go for light, which is really cool. And we've created this. Yeah, this could be a logo, could be a bit of text, whatever it is. But that's a quick way to use your text. And you can play around by selecting and playing around with the spacing and sizing here. You got line spacing. But for now, I think it's just a quick example. And one more example, maybe it's for a poster for a product, generate this quick mock-up here. I've got text here. And so now what I will do is usually pick a nice font. For example, this one from Font Fabric is really good, Ways. It's got a lot of different font weights. So I can come in here and start to style. And let's go with like a dark brown. I'll start to bring this text over. You got this text in a text box. So with the type tool, if you press T, and you left click, it will create just a text line. If you click and drag, it'll use Lorem Ipsum text to fill the placeholder text, and I can create a text box which I can type in here as well. You can hold Alt and press up and down to adjust the line spacing, as you can see. Also adjust it in the text box on this window here, which is really cool. So that's basically the text tool, and I'm just going to scale this down. I'll scale the text, maybe do something like this. I think it's a bit light. I might go up to regular, and then for this thing, I might go uppercase. Let's maybe add a little like label to it, something like this. I'll use the align tool really quick, and maybe you want to go like bold or something. And I'll create a swatch. You can press the plus button. So maybe you want this brown color. I can press the eyedropper tool as well to select colors. Maybe I want this orange. I can just sample the color, and because there's a mask there. There we go, got the orange color. I can press the little plus in the swatch panel to make this new color, press OK, and then I can use it to like, I don't know, make the stroke white or something, I don't know. I'm really just experimenting right now. Maybe we want the white, I don't know about the orange. And I'll drop the transparency down, which just decreases it. As you can see, maybe we go 60% just to make it a little bit lighter. And then now we've got this sort of, I don't know, if this poster here, maybe I can put some texture in there. I can add a paper, for example. I can place it on top. And the cool thing is you can play around with different blending modes. So if you go to your transparency panel, you've got different blending modes like darken, multiply, etc. If I put my mouse over the drop down and just use my mouse wheel, it'll just rotate through all those. So usually multiply is good. You got screen, color dodge, overlay works usually good as well. Soft light, hard light, etc. So overall, because it's on top of everything, it's going to affect everything. So I might just go multiply and reduce the opacity. You can also right click and click arrange and bring things to the back so I can send backward. I can also press Control Shift and the square brackets to go down. So now I don't want and so the texture can go under the cup, as you can see there. So now the texture is under the cup, not on top of it. So that's just a quick way to change where the image sits on the layout, whether it's on top or below. So just remember that when you're sending it backward, it goes to the back. When it's forward, it goes to the forward. So yeah, overlay will look like this. Multiply looks like this. I think overlay probably the best for this. And then I can make a quick mask, and I'll just show you how to do that really quick. So yeah, got this cool little design there. So if you want to make a clipping mask, say I've got this image here, I can scale it up. All I've got to do is just make a shape. For example, it could be a box, and this box will be on top of my image. I select both, and you can actually right click and click clipping mask. You can also press Control 7 to do that. And now we've got a mask. And the cool thing is we can create some fun text and do whatever we want with it. Maybe you want text behind the mask. You can really have fun with it. You can do multiple masks as well. So if I want to make another mask, as long as the shape is on top of the image, you can create another mask. So now once you double click into here, I'm double clicking into those masks, and then I can just move the images around. I can scale the image as well. So if I just get rid of this text, and then I can release the clipping mask. So right click, click release, and it will take it out of that mask I just created. And then I do it again to release it from the other mask. So now it's free, and then just the shape is here. And that's really how you do a mask. I think it's really fun and really easy. Now, one cool thing is isolation mode. Now, this is great if you have lots of vector objects, lots of groups, lots of details. This is a grouped bunch of shapes, and you can see it's actually in a group. Now, what I want to do is double click into the group. Instead of ungrouping it, I just want to go inside of it. So I'll double click. Now I'm actually inside the group, and I can move around any of these objects. But what if you wanted to go into one specific shape? I can zoom in, for example, and I can double click again. Now I'm in isolated mode for this specific shape. So I can move this shape. I can change the color if I want, which is super cool. Maybe I want to go blue. And then you can see everything else is, the opacity is less, so it's lighter. I can press escape to get out of it. And now you can see that's all updated. So isolation mode is really good. Another cool thing is using the magic wand. I press Y. Let's select the red shape here. And it's going to select all the same color and all the shapes in this artboard or in this group. So right now it's selecting all the red colors. I think it's selected the pink as well by accident. because it's just using a general red color. And let's say I want to go like yellow, and it will change all those shapes just like that in one go. We can do it for the coffee beans, or select all the similar colors that are brown, and maybe we want to go purple or something. And so it's a really fast way using the magic wand to do that. And remember, you can use isolation groups to move things around, do whatever you want. It's a great way to organize your objects. And then lastly, one great tool that you can use in Illustrator is the Mockup Tool. You used to have to do all this manually in Photoshop, but now in Illustrator, if you just have a logo, for example, this one, and I got an image, I'll select these two, go to Object, and go down to Mockup and click Create Mockup. Now keep in mind, you want to make sure that the logo or the object is the right size. So do it to scale to the object, because if it's really big, it won't work properly. So make sure that you've changed the size before doing it. And so now I've got this logo, and it recognizes the object, and it starts to mold itself and bend itself to that shape. And then we can, scale it. I don't want to mess it up though, because it's going to distort it. And then now we've got that mock-up. It looks pretty real, looks pretty believable. So that's my short Illustrator course. I hope you learned something. Hopefully I didn't go too fast, because usually I get excited and talk fast sometimes. Hope you enjoyed it. If you do want to dive deeper in my Adobe Illustrator Masterclass, I'll put a link in the description below. Maybe you want to turn design into a hobby, then I got 30 other courses. I talk about branding, logo identity, how to build websites in Framer and Webflow, and I got some other vector illustration, design stuff as well. So if you want to check it out, that'll be awesome. Support the channel. If you do want to dive a bit deeper in how I create some logos for clients, you can check out this video here where I show you my whole process. Check it out.